Hello there, and welcome to the channel. Today we will be discussing a car that has been in production since 1964 and has had an uninterrupted run until today and has just gone into a new generation. Yes, we are going to be talking about the 2024 Mustang, otherwise known as the S650 generation. This is the newest generation of Ford Mustang that Ford has announced recently. Some of them are starting to get into the hands of customers, and there's some new goodies along with this car. One of which being a new trim level that we have never seen before called the Dark Horse, and which I have put up on the screen for your entertainment. This is the new styling and design of the Ford Mustang as we move into the S650 generation. This generation will be keeping the powertrains that pushed it forward in the last generation, so that will be the EcoBoost and the 5.0 liter Coyote engine. Those will be the two power plants powering this car, and which is a great thing to see given some companies are either completely discontinuing their muscle car model or converting it over to EV potentially, as you know, we don't know yet. But it is a great thing to see that the Mustang is staying true and charging forward with how it's been doing. The only thing they've really changed is the visuals of it and some slight architecture changes with the engine, such as they moved to a dual throttle body intake versus just a single throttle body. Helps it get a little more air in there and make a little bit more power. The EcoBoost has seen some power bumps, as has the 5.0 Coyote. And in fact, in the Dark Horse, it is claimed as having 500 horsepower at the crank. Granted, some dyno testing has shown that power drops to about 400 once you get to the wheels. May find out more on that at a later time as to why that is the case, but for now, that is what we are seeing. The Dark Horse, however, it does appear to be the S650 equivalent to the Mach 1 in terms of the goodies that it comes with and what its goal is, such as it comes with a more aggressive spoiler than the GT, it comes with more aggressive brakes, more aggressive aerodynamics in the front bumper, the power bump, all of these things, and also more aggressive tires, all of which come together to make a car that is arguably more for the track than for straight street driving. Or I should say, really, what the Dark Horse is it is a track-ready street car, not the other way around, not a street-ready track car. That would be the Mustang GTD, which for this generation will be the most powerful Mustang, and it is also probably the most expensive Mustang that you could ever buy, coming in at an estimated MSRP of $300,000. That Mustang will be essentially the GT3 Mustang made road legal. So it will have the active aero, it will have magnesium wheels, if I remember correctly. It will have carbon ceramic brakes, it will have a whole bunch of carbon fiber, all sorts of exotic materials, and it will be very, very close to the GT3 car, as stated by one of the drivers who drove it. He stated that it felt actually very close to the GT3 and that he was very impressed with it on the track, that a car that will be road legal could be so close to the actual race version of said car. So if you're someone who's lucky enough to be asked to buy the GTD, as Ford will be doing that, much like they did with the Ford GT, you will have to be asked to buy it. You cannot just walk into a dealer and say, I want the Mustang GTD. You have to be invited to buy it, at least brand new. Who knows? Maybe once it hits the used market, then maybe, just anybody who has the money to buy it will be able to buy it. But we will have to wait and see. For now, though, the trims that us mere mortals can grab our hands on will be the EcoBoost, as they've been doing for a while now, the GT, which has the 5.0 Coyote, and the Dark Horse. Who knows, we probably will see a Shelby version of this car, potentially GT350 and then GT500, much like they did with the S550 generation, where we had the GT350 first and then we got the GT500. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Already, also, there are other companies such as Roush who have already come out with their, special variations to the Mustang, as well as RTR. I know both of those companies have come out with kits that you can take your Mustang to them, and they will, cut up the body panels and do work on it, and it will become an RTR Mustang or a Roush Mustang, much like they've been doing with prior generations, and it will be really cool to see some of those on the road as well. For now, in all honesty, I personally think that this generation of Mustang looks amazing. I actually don't have too much issue with either the interior or the exterior. I think personally that it looks good. I know some people complain about the dash and how it looks like there's just one giant iPad slapped onto it, or how the back end looks like a Camaro. Actually, a lot of people say the whole thing looks like a Camaro. Personally, my take on that is you cannot patent design language. You cannot patent shapes. Nobody can patent rectangles and squares and circles and triangles. Nobody can patent any of those. So if there's a particular set of shapes that work really well together and they look really good together when you put them through your little study group or whatever it is that you do to decide what's going to look good for the car, and if it just so happens that your selection of shapes and body panels ends up similar to your competition, I would say you can't really say they're copying each other. It's just that's what looks good. That's, what people idealize as a muscle car is those particular shapes. If you remember back in the 1960s and early 70s, the very first generation Mustang, Camaro, and Charger and Challenger all looked very similar to each other, just with some minor changes. But the overall shape of all four cars was very, very similar from one to the other. Again, just with some minor design choice changes from car to car depending on the company. So this is not exactly something new where one car versus another car, they have similar design language. It's been going on for quite some time. So I personally don't have too much issue with it. One of the things I actually think is pretty cool is how the brake lights on this new Mustang have sort of an optical illusion to them. I don't know if Ford intended for that to be the case or if it was just by accident a little bit with how they designed it. But with the brake lights, depending on the angle that you're at, they can either look like a straight vertical line or they can look like a little arrow. Again, just depending on the angle at which you're viewing them. I thought that was pretty cool. Again, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I think it was pretty cool. I also love that now the sequential blinker has made its way into the headlights, as well as being a brake light thing. Because I'm sure, as you're aware, if you've seen any Mustang on the street near you and they're making any sort of turn, their brake lights go sequentially across all three. And it's been that way for actually quite a number of years now. I believe since 2014 at least, they've been doing that. So it's kind of nice to see that the headlights are following suit now, and now the headlight will as well have that little sequential blinker in it. I know for me, I love seeing the sequential blinkers with my Focus ST. I would love to have sequential blinkers on the headlights, brake lights, and on the mirrors. But that's just me. I know not everyone likes them, but that's okay. So that's my take on the Mustang. I personally have always wanted a Mustang for a very long time. I love the Mustang. I do also respect the Camaro and the Challenger and Charger. If it wasn't for those cars, the Mustang wouldn't be what it is. And if it weren't for the Mustang, those cars probably wouldn't be what they are or were. But that is all I had to say for today. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button in order to keep up with everything that's going on with the channel. And I hope to see you next time. And as a side note, there's going to be a period of time, just real quick. I am going to be in the process of moving soon, so the next video is going to take a fair bit longer to come out. It for sure will probably not come out next week. It may not even come out the week after, just because of everything that is involved when it comes to moving. But I thank you for your patience, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day.